Congressman Jim Jordan of the House Republicans warning about the dangers of mass mail-in ballots being sent to here, there, everywhere, warning about how it would inject more division, chaos, and opportunity for fraud in our elections. Jim Jordan back in August. Take a look.
We know what this is about. We all know what this is about. This is about these guys wanting chaos and confusion because I think they know this. I think they know on election night President Trump's going to win. They know on election day, the vote count on election day, President Trump's going to win. And they want to keep counting 6 weeks, 4 weeks, Iowa caucus, whenever. I don't know when they decided that one. I still don't know if they've declared a winner. I don't know if it was Bernie or Biden or whoever was running then. That's what they want.
Wow. September 23rd, House Republicans, they issued a warning about this very issue in a report. Quote, how Democrats are attempting to sow uncertainty, inaccuracy, and delay in the 2020 election. Look at their findings. Quote, Democrats are seeking to change state election laws and procedures at the last minute to advantage themselves in the 2020 election cycle. These late changes will only increase the likelihood for potential election-related crime and errors and put at risk the integrity of our nation's electoral process. Here with reaction to explain more, Congressman Doug Collins and Matt Gaetz, and we expect Congressman Jordan to join us in a little bit. Congressman Collins, I see in your state of Georgia, and by the way, we have really two important Senate seats up in January 5th that will tip the balance of power potentially in the Senate, which could be Chuck Schumer's dream. But in your state, my understanding is that the Georgia Democratic Party, the Democratic Senatorial Campaign Committee and House Committee all put in place a legal challenge that resulted in two standards in terms of signature verification. Is that true?
Yeah, this was a consent decree that was issued long before even the others started doing this. That really tore down the veil on these guaranteeing of a signature verification on absentee ballots. They've been at this for a while. They've been wanting to chip away at what's happening. And unfortunately, we last March agreed to it. Secretary of State agreed to a consent decree, which started to lay this in line. And then earlier this year, actually, the Secretary of State agreed to send an application for a ballot to every registered voter, whether they wanted one or not. We've seen this go on. This is becoming a problem, and even some Republicans have given into it. That's why I'm down here leading the president's fight for a manual hand recount here in Georgia so that we can actually challenge these ballots, look at them, and make sure that everything is fair down here. Everything has to be legal and for people to have confidence.
Why would they agree in Georgia? And I know there's some conflict down there. Why would they actually agree to the idea that you have one verification standard on Election Day with one computer system, and then another one for those people that request a mail-in ballot and then sign the mail-in ballot when you don't really know who it is because nobody's been verified?
Yeah, that's the frustration for us. I've been wondering the same thing, and yet it just seems to be that the Democrats yelled louder and threatened lawsuits, and unfortunately, there was some discussions in the Secretary of State's office that they decided that it was better to enter into a consent decree with it. So again, we got to fight. This president deserves that. That's what we're doing for down here. That's why we're fighting to make sure that every legal vote is counted, and we'll see what happens then. But we're not going to just send over and lay it over just simply because the Democrats who now want to flood Georgia.
I think your governor, who could change the law by calling a special session, is basically given up down there. Kemp doesn't seem too interested in it as usual. Jim Jordan, you were right in that report, September 23rd. How did you know that this would all happen exactly as you predicted?
You could just see what Democrats were planning on doing, Sean. And right now, think about this, Sean. If you said before the election, we're going to keep the Senate, Republicans are going to gain 10, 12 seats in the House, President Trump's going to get 9 million more votes than he got 4 years ago, but he's not going to win. That's why 72 million Americans instinctively know something's not right here. And if you just look at the state of Pennsylvania, where where unequal treatment of the voters in that state, some counties allowed voters to cure their ballots, some didn't. Some counties allowed pre-canvassing of ballots, some didn't. Some counties allowed satellite voting offices, some counties did it. And you can imagine which counties allowed those things to happen. So this is just like Doug said. We gotta get to the bottom of this. All the complaints that Ronna and Kayleigh mentioned, all the affidavits signed. What are the Democrats trying to hide? Let's get to the bottom of this. Let's count every legal vote. Let's figure out exactly what happened for the integrity of the American election system.
I watch your state of Ohio, and Matt, I watch your state of Florida. That you guys have had your problems, as I said to Senator Rubio. it was like there's no questioning the integrity. People of Florida have confidence in the outcome. People of Ohio have confidence in the outcome. Why is it this happens only in a few states?
Well, in Washington, it is even worse than you're reporting. My sources are telling me that part of the Biden transition plan would be making permanent these coronavirus changes to the voting process so that in every future election, there is this indiscriminate mass mailing of ballots that then is more difficult to verify after the fact. Now, in the state of Florida, the key change we made is that the mail-in ballots get counted in advance. So there's not an opportunity to have an unknown universe of ballots to allow a Democrat to catch up with some 4 a.m. dump of ballots into the back of the room in the middle of the night. Every Republican state legislator has an obligation now to pursue election integrity legislation in their state to ensure that we do not have these mass mailings of ballots. We deserve to know that the person who voted that ballot intended to vote that ballot. And once you get the ballots separated from the signature envelopes, it becomes very difficult to chase the fraud after the fact. You have to catch the fraud in the act. That's why Florida's laws create greater confidence in the outcome in the election. And look, Brian Kemp was a chief elections official for the state of Georgia. Why didn't he do the things that Ron DeSantis did during his transition to clean up the process, to ensure integrity, to remove the bad actors, and then to give our voters confidence?
He said tonight he won't call.
Look, I think
he should.
I think that for Brian Kemp, it was more important that Kelly Loeffler beat Doug Collins than that Donald Trump beat Joe Biden. He could have set that Collins-Loeffler primary earlier. We would have had a more united Republican Party if that were the case.
Let me ask you this.
But in a close election, that stuff really matters. It really matters, Sean, and he did not put us in the best position to win.
Knowing all we know, real quick answers from all three of you. Jim Jordan, is there a chance we right this ship here?
We should investigate, and the Democrats should join us, as Marco said, Senator Rubio said. Let's figure it all out. When you have this many concerns, the American people deserve to know exactly what happened, and they deserve to know if it was fair.
Will Georgia get the Senate race right?
We're going to get a Senate race right, and we're going to get the president's race right. We're still in this fight right now.
Matt Gaetz?
I have every confidence that we will expose fraud. Whether it is sufficient scale to overturn the outcome of the election, I think that remains to be seen, and it's why we have a legal process to make that determination.
All right. Thank you all.